Hey everyone, Captain Amazing here, and today I'm going to expand on my hierarchy of needs. I wanted to put out my first video and just explain what the overall philosophy is, but today what we're going to do is we're going to look at the foundational piece of resource management. How can you get more resources into your account and why that should be your priority overall than focusing on a single game mode such as Grand Arena, TW, Conquest, or TB. So now that that's said, let's jump into my infographic. This is my original infographic that I used when explaining my philosophy of needs. I felt like it didn't fully realize or explain my thought process on it, so I did make some slight adjustments just to overall explain what it is that I'm trying to say for how I build my account and how I advise others when I give them account reviews. So this is the adjustments I made. When you look at these, the biggest thing I did is I grouped up foundational, which is just building more resources into your account. So these foundational tiers are what I focus on more. So when you build these tiers as far as the foundations, it's important to realize that it's scalable. You have to look at where you are in the game compared to what you're trying to do. So if you're an absolutely new player, the biggest thing that you need to do is find a good guild. If you are in a horrible guild, and even late or mid game players, if your guild is very, very bad, then it's going to severely limit you. And the reason why I put guild income on the very bottom of my needs is because there's plenty of players that just ignore Grand Arena or ignore Fleet Arena, but they have absolutely massive accounts because you can still generate crystals in other avenues and you can still get a lot of resources to continue to relicing your character. Is it going to limit your potential of your account? Absolutely. But if you are not in a good guild in proportion to where you are in the game and what your GP is, then it's severely limiting your ability to build your account. And that would absolutely stifle your growth almost completely. So that's why guild income is the bottom and why crystal income is the very next tier, because crystals are that train that allow you to snowball your account. And then I wanted to expand a little as well on the assault battles versus first GL fleet avenue. And I'm going to do that in a little bit later on in this video. So as far as this, let's jump into guild income and expand on that avenue. So a new player, your number one priority should be getting into a guild that can complete the Sith Triumvirate raid. All you have to do for the heroic is have a 7-star character that can join. If you have that, your guild can carry you through this event and you're going to get max resources. All you have to do is attack once with that character. I'm pretty sure maybe you even just get it for this tier. I know for the newer raids, you have to actually do an attack, but you just need to join and get this raid, and it can be cleared by essentially one player. So if you look at the rewards here, the rewards are actually pretty generous for what you can get in this game. If you compare these to the other raids, you have to double the amount because you can do this raid a lot more frequently than we can do the speeder bike raid. So the newest raids, they have them set towards more of a weekly schedule, where this heroic raid, they didn't change the pacing or rewards for them because it's like a legacy raid and they didn't feel the need. So if you double this income, that's what you should roughly get in a week, which is very generous because these Mark II pieces is how you gear up from gear 12 to gear 13, and then this Mark I raid tokens is how you get that gear 8 to gear 12. So this raid will get you into relics very, very easily. it's not going to help you build those higher level relics as much as the newest raid, but just getting your foot into the door, this is going to drive so much into your account as far as building your first relic characters. It's a night and day difference if you're in a guild that has everyone getting their 600 tickets rather than staying in a guild that may have 20 to 30 participants and it's very casual and you guys aren't regularly doing these raids. You're severely limiting how fast you can build your account. So it's instrumental that you get into a guild that's at least bare minimum doing this raid and doing it twice weekly. So let's start jumping into end game accounts. So when you're in mid to late game, you need to adjust your income into what you feel comfortable in getting, because it's hard with this level and this type of raid to get carried by your guild. So if you expect a higher level of box, let's say you expect the 832 million box, what you should do is here, let's take out a calculator. You take 830, what was it? 832 million, and you divide that by 50. So you should have 16.64 million participation. So if you are aiming for that top box, you have to aim for about close to 17 million participation. Same thing if you are aiming for the 665, divide that by 50. So you need at least 13.5 million participation. So when I say that your goal should be getting as much participation as possible on that guild one, it's scalable because a new player just needs to get into a decent guild that's doing the raid. A very end game player may want to earn that highest level of box possible. So it's completely up to you. And that's why I say this is just a philosophy of building your account and why guilds are very important and why they should be prioritized, because you need to get the amount of currency that you're comfortable with and will allow you to build your income as much as possible. So I'm currently 8 million GP. I only get about 5.5 million participation in this raid, so I'm comfortable with a 208 million bucks. This gives me a decent amount of it really doesn't matter for the Mark 1, Mark 2, we're all going to get the same, but 4,000 Mark 3 is a very comfortable amount for me because I've only been playing this game for 2 years. So my comfortable level of what I'm aiming for that guild income is that 208 box, and it allows me to continue building my higher relics at a pace that I'm comfortable with and allows me to get those resources. For end game players or PvE players or those with like absolute massive accounts, this box would not be enough for them. They would want to aim for maybe the 400, the 600, or the 800 million so that they can earn these Mark 3s, because if you're getting this box at the 832 million, you're getting more than double what my income is for these Mark 3s, and that's important for Relic 6, Relic 7, Relic 8, and Relic 9. So you have to taper your expectations of what you expect and prioritize that. And the reason as well why this philosophy applies even from low to end game players is when you start when new content comes out, that content we have to go back and reprioritize. So if you're a rope player or if you're a conquest player or a GAC player and a new raid comes out, we have to farm new teams and new characters and relic up maybe old characters so that we can get the level of participation necessary. So that's why it's foundational, and why this guide puts it on the bottom is it drives our ability to gear characters and to get those higher relics. But we have to adjust every few months as new content comes in, and we have to reprioritize our account building. So next, let's talk about crystal income. So if you look here, crystal income is divided by three things. So we have Grand Arena, Fleet Arena, and daily activities. So I'm going to go over all the crystals that you can get and why it's important to participate in every single one, but also why Grand Arena is just a nod that you need to participate in it as best you can. But account building at this foundational level should not be focused on Ground Arena. If you look at this, I know it's a lot of numbers and words, but work with me here, and I'm going to break this down for you. So at the top, you see 400 crystals daily for 30 days. So that's if you get first in Fleet Arena, that's 12,000 crystals a month. So that's the top potential that you can earn from Fleet Arena. And you can earn this pretty much from day one if you buy that Hyperdrive account or if you buy the Hyperdrive with Lightspeed bundles, or if you're just level 60 and you build strong for fleets and it's not Lightspeed bundles, but you get the picture. This can be earned almost immediately, and you just have to build one strong fleet to get first. And it doesn't always have to be the meta fleet. You can get off meta fleets. There's a lot of different strategies for it. I personally farm the Leviathan because I want to prioritize my crystals, but essentially new players all the way to endgame players should focus on these crystals every day because it's one fleet, one team, and it's going to give you 12,000 crystals a month, which is a huge amount. I see a lot of endgame players that ignore this amount, or they don't do their 5 fleet battles a day and they're sitting somewhere at like 30 or even higher, up in the 60s, 70s, 80s, because they just don't care about it. But 12,000 crystals is a lot of crystals. So let's break down the numbers for Grand Arena and why I say you can't prioritize it, especially as a new player, compared to fleet income. So if you look from the bottom, and then you can look here, my assumptions of how you're going to earn your Grand Arena is you have a 5-4 win-loss, and you get rank 2 to 4 every week. Of course, sometimes you get higher, sometimes you get lower, but just to average out these numbers, this is the assumptions that I made when I did the math for these numbers. So at Carbonite 5, you're going to have 3,920 crystals a month for being in Carbonite 5. Compare that to 1,200 crystals, and that's 3 times as less. It's a huge amount, a huge difference that you can get if you focus on fleet compared to the bottom of Grand Arena. So if you go up and you climb yourself out of Carbonite and you end up in Bronzium, then you're gonna have, or your potential to earn is going to be about 5,230. Chromium 5, 6,925, Rhodium 5, 9,260, and finally in Kyber 5, you're gonna out earn the potential of crystals that you can earn from Grand Arena is gonna out earn the amount of crystals you can earn in fleets, which is 12,520 a month. And then in Kyber 1, it's 16,735 crystals a month with those same assumptions. So it took me personally about 2 years to get into Kyber. I had 2 GLs and 2 GL fleets. I am a returning player. A lot of players are probably like me, where we started, we played for a while. I took about a 4-year break and then I came back. So a lot of players are like that. Some start right away and maybe they can build an account quickly and start earning those crystals right away from fleets and get into Kyber a lot quicker. But my journey, it took me about 2 years to do it. But this is the assumption. If you focus on crystals through fleet, you can start earning those crystals a lot earlier before you get into Kyber, because Kyber is going to have some pretty hard limits. Once you start going into especially Chromium and Rhodium, you're going to start seeing some absolutely massive accounts that are going to be there. Are they going to fully understand how to use their account or what they're doing? Absolutely not. They're going to be probably hot garbage, and no offense to those who are in there and you're a huge account. Maybe watch some more of my videos and we can work through this together on what you can do. But essentially, they're there for a reason. They're lacking in something, whether it's mods, fleets, but that's not the purpose of this video. So it's going to be a while until you can finally earn crystals that equate to fleet. But even let's say you're in Kyber 5, that's still about the same amount of potential for fleet to Grand Arena. So even if you're in Kyber 1, don't sleep on the potential of getting first to fifth from fleet in your crystal income, because I do see a lot of players that are in Kyber and they just don't care about fleets because they get enough crystals, and I want to break down why as well. So another way that we get crystals is dailies. We get about 100 a day on average, so 3,000 crystals a month. So even if you have, and if you're in Kyber 1 and you get your daily crystals, that's about 19,735 crystals, and you need 22,500 crystals a month to do those 3 times refreshes a day for all the energies, and that's not including also conquest refreshes. So it's a very expensive amount, but that is the most efficient way of using your crystals, is through those 3 times refreshes for every energy. So essentially, if you want to save crystals but also do those refreshes, you have to engage in both fleets and in Grand Arena over time, so that you can also do all those refreshes and also build more into your account. So that's the foundation of why Fleet Arena is the most important, especially for new game players. And then even once you're in end game and you're in Kyber, why it's important to continue getting that fleet income, because it's just going to double or greatly advance the amount of crystals that you have, so you can do those 3 times refreshes but still build your crystal bank for galactic chases, getting more stars on your capital ships, or whatever else you want to spend your crystals on. So let's jump into the next part, which is GLs and assault battles. So getting a Galactic Legend character or fleet is very important in this game. So, and also when you look at my assault battles, I have arrows pointing from GLs to GL fleet in assault battle, because you can't just focus on one or the other. It's your discretion on how you want to prioritize these. I would say getting your first GL and your first GL ship is very important. And once you have a bit of stability in your account, I do think that you should go for your first GL. Your first GL is up to you. If you have the Lightspeed bundles, get the payout from those Lightspeed bundles. Unlock Ray, unlock SLKR. They're both fantastic characters. I would say SLKR is better on offense and Ray is better on defense. So if you're once you get your first GL, you put that GL on defense, then you just you can go for Ray first. But largely it's probably going to be dependent on your fleets and if you have the Radis or the Finalizer ready. So whatever one you want first, it's up to you. There's also some other GLs that are absolutely fantastic as your first. I've seen a lot of people get JMK as their first if they can get the Watt Shards, and that's a huge if. But if you have access to Watt Shards and you get JMK, that JMK on defense is going to propel you through Grand Arena, because a lot of players just don't know how to defeat a JMK on defense. And it could carry you up to Kyber as long as you have the offense to also clear at least 2 zones as well. So it's a balance, and that's why Grand Arena, it takes a while, but the JMK defense is really strong. Also, going for Jabba. So Jabba is, in my opinion, the best return of investment on GLs. So it's a little difficult to go with, let's say a JML or a Jabba as your first GL, because they require a lot of those, because you have to get Jedi Knight Luke, and that requires Hoda, it requires Rolo, and it requires Wampa. But luckily you can buy those characters now with Mark II, and it's a much more approachable farm. So if you want to go straight for a Jabba, I would say that's absolutely, and especially if you're not buying the Lightspeed bundles, that's absolutely the way to go, and what I would advise anyone if that's what they want to do, because of Smuggler's Run 2. If you get access to Smuggler's Run 2, it's a night and day difference for your mods. It's going to propel you and your mod income, and it's going to be completely passive. It's a wonderful, wonderful farm. Once I unlocked Jabba, it was game changing for me. Absolutely game changing. So especially if you do have those lightspeed bundles as well, get the payouts, like get Ray, get SLKR, and then immediately go for Jabba. That's as your next big farm. But I would say going into those assault battles as well. So I wouldn't say I would rank GLs in your first GL ship a tier below assault battles, but I think they're really interchangeable. And I would never advise someone to just go only for GLs or only for assault battles. They kind of have to be weaved in together. So an example would be you go for Executor and then you add in like CLS or Imperial Troopers after that. And then you go for a GL and then you add in either another one like Luke. So there's a way that you can weave those GLs and those assault battles in, and that way it's you're building some side farms, and that's what I always advise. Like GL ship or GL assault battle, GL ship or GL assault battle. And if you look at my account, I have 4 GLs, but I have all these assault battles done. So my personal path was SOKR into Executor. And then I built my Rebels and Imperial Troopers in that farm. And then I went for Jabba and I had I built Jedi Knight Luke, which gave me that the Jedi Assault Battle. And then I had SOKR to do the Sith one. It's very reliable, but it's 1 star. So I had to use my Sith to 3-star it. And this is what I used for the Sith one. I did take a little break to get DACA to R5, and so I have DACA I have the Night Sisters at Challenge Tier 1 with this much investment. It's only 3 Zetas and an R5 DACA Gear 10 Zombie, and that'll get you Challenge Tier 1 for Night Sisters. If you want to go for Challenge Tier 3, it will take Marin and a little bit more investment, but I haven't done it, so I'm not the expert on it. I'm sure there's some great guides out there. So for Inquisitors, I do have to get Fifth Brother to 7 stars. He's at Gear 11. I'll take him quickly to Gear 12, and then I'll take Second Sister to R5, and this team can get Challenge Tier 1. Inquisitors is my current farm, so I'm going to take them all the way up to Relic 7 because in a month and a half I'm going to unlock Riva, and in a month I'm going to unlock the Scythe. So it's important for me to start getting these Inquisitors up because that's 2 excellent ships and a GL level character that I'm going to lock here in 2 months. So they are an excellent farm. I wouldn't say you should go for Inquisitors right away. If you want to get into an excellent guild, you absolutely can, but it's not that important. I would say my ranking for how you should do your assault battles, and of course you have to look at the farming synergies of what you're farming and what makes most sense, but my number 1 is always Imperial Troopers because they have 2 assault battles. After that, it's Rebels. CLS is a wonderful team. They are great in every single game mode, especially Conquest. They act honestly better than most of my GLs because they are just fantastic. Han shoots first, starts that turn meter train. A wonderful team in every single game mode. Next is this Jedi Knight Luke. It's a wonderful farm. It leads to JML. It also leads to Jabba. Jabba's my favorite GL, and I think the best return of investment. So this would be my 3rd ranked assault battle. 4th would probably be Sith. So there's a lot of synergies here. There's a lot of characters that you absolutely need to farm for other journeys. So you have Emperor Palpatine and Darth Vader for SLKR, Executor, C. There's a lot of farming synergy for these teams. They're also really important for Starkiller and other farms. And then Malik, Basilisk, Sean Fallen. You need Malik for the Leviathan. Also, the Sith Empire team is really great. So there's a lot of synergies here. Darth Nihilus at Gear 12 is really cheap, and you just need Gear 12 for this to work. So this was absolutely fine. You don't have to have Relic 9 on Malik. That I just have that because I have the Leviathan. So, but it is great. He's a great character. So I'm sure the more relics you can have on him, the better. First order, if you just unlock SOKR, you take them to R7, you don't even need the ult. You can get challenge tier 3 done, but the problem is it's only a 1-star because your teammates will die, and it takes a long time. So if you can, I would advise you to go for this Sith team first, and then this first order team. So these two are my least recommended ones, and you should do over time. And that's just Night Sisters. Challenge tier 1 is really cheap, and I think you should do it as a side farm once you have these other farms done, because this gives me 5 challenge tier 3s in a month. This is my 6th and my 7th. So I have 5 at challenge tier 3. I have 1 at challenge tier 1, and I'm currently working on Inquisitors, so soon I'll have this at challenge tier 3. I don't know exactly when I'll do Night Sisters. They are great in ROTE. They can take down a Jabba in Grand Arena for a reliable 2-shot, sometimes 1-shot if you get lucky or you do the strategy right. So they do have a lot of viability, but it's not a priority for me. But this income, though, is instrumental, and these teams are fantastic teams. Like, these teams are amazing teams, and that's why I'm saying you can build for resource management, and you're going to naturally do better in Grand Arena or all these other game modes, because these teams are great teams that are useful in every single game mode. Imperial Troopers, even at this gear level, absolutely slap in Grand Arena. Same as Rebels, same as Jedi, same as Sith. This is a bunch of teams actually in Grand Arena. Same as SOKR. Night Sisters as well, but Night Sisters also double, even at this level. They are absolutely a usable team. In Conquest, once you get those data discs down, this team can do even level 5 with the R8s really easily with those decent data discs. And my Inquisitors, they're absolute hot garbage. I do absolutely nothing with them. They're absolutely useless. they're just an incredible Chirotech sync. It may not look that impressive at the gear level that they are, but they absolutely bankrupted me. I hate them right now. They're doing nothing for my account. But in 2 months, I'm going to love them because I'll have the Scythe. I do have the TIE Interceptor. That TIE Interceptor allows me to counter Leviathans, even at 7 stars for a reliable 2-shot, and Executors. And then once I get the Scythe and Reva, I'm going to have a GL level team and a Leviathan killer, so it'll be worth it in the end. But right now I'm just in a sore spot for these Inquisitors. It's a rough ride. So this has been the foundational portion of my video. It explains my overall thought process on why guild income is the most important, followed by crystal income, and then a blend of your first GL fleet and assault battles. So overall, if you focus on this, and it takes a while, honestly, to get there in this game. I'm currently at 8 million GP, and I'm still working on the foundation of my account. Once this new raid changes, I'm going to have to go back to the bottom of the guild income. And then soon, once I have all my assault battles, I can start building towards my account specialization, such as Grand Arena or whatever else I'm going to do, or maybe a passion project. But that's for my next video of in this series. Thanks for watching this if you got this far. If you like this content, go ahead and like and subscribe. I'm going to keep making some videos in this series until I fully explain my philosophy on how I build an account and why I think this method is the best way moving forward for guides, because it overall is scalable. It can be applied at any point of where you are in the game, and it's more diverse than telling you exactly what you can do, because Lightspeed bundles have changed the game, and we don't know what they're going to be in the beginning or where players are going to be in their accounts when they come out. So this just gives you a way of utilizing that critical thinking, applying these philosophies so that you can make a judgment call on what you want in your account. So if you like this content, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time, and take care.